All right, let's get right into it because what we're talking about today could literally change how software gets made. Google's just dropped something called Antigravity. And listen, this isn't just another coding assistant. It's an AI platform that promises to write, test, and yeah, even debug your apps for you. So, right off the bat, that brings up a pretty big question, doesn't it? If you're using something like GitHub Copilot or maybe even Cursor right now, you're going to want to listen up. Because the shift we're about to look at is, well, it's a massive jump from what you're probably used to. You see, we're making this incredible leap. We're going from AI that just helps you code to an AI that pretty much does the coding on your behalf. This isn't about little suggestions anymore. This is about autonomous creation. And this just nails the difference perfectly. Think about it. Most of the tools we use are reactive, right? You type something, they suggest a completion, you ask a question, they give you an answer. Well, Antigravity just flips that whole model on its head. It's proactive. You give it a high-level goal, and it just takes over. It plans everything out and executes the whole thing. So let's properly introduce the platform that's making all this noise. It's called Google Antigravity, and Google is calling it an agentic development platform. Now, I know that sounds super fancy, but the idea behind it is honestly revolutionary. And this right here, this is the secret sauce. Agent-first architecture. Instead of thinking line by line, the little AI agents inside Antigravity think at a task level. Their job isn't to finish your sentence. Their job is to finish your project. They figure out the steps, they write the code, and, this is huge, they actually test and debug their own work. So how on earth does it work? Well, as you can see, the basic idea is to give this AI brain direct control over a developer's most essential tools. It gets its hands on your code editor, it can run commands in the terminal, and this is the real game changer, it can open up a web browser to actually see and interact with the app it's building. It creates this incredibly powerful closed-loop system. Now, Antigravity gives you two different ways to work with these agents. First, you've got the editor view, which it feels a little more familiar. You're still the one driving, and the agents are there to help with specific things. But then you have the manager view, and this is where things get really wild. It's like you're in mission control, just supervising a bunch of agents building different features all at once. The source material had the perfect description for it. It's like managing several virtual interns. Okay, so you can't really talk about a tool this disruptive without putting it up against the current champ of AI-first coding environments, which is Cursor. So let's see how Antigravity actually stacks up. Let's start with a really important test. Complex refactoring. You know, this is the hard stuff, where you're asking the AI to make major changes across a ton of files. And as you can see from the chart, Antigravity is hitting a 94% accuracy rate. Now, Cursor's not bad. It's at 78%, but that 16-point difference? In the real world, that's a massive gap in reliability when you're trusting an AI with your codebase. So what's behind that amazing accuracy? A huge part of it is this number right here, 1 million. Antigravity is running on a model with a native 1 million token context window. To put that simply, it means it can read and understand your entire codebase all at once, no matter how big it is. It doesn't have to guess or summarize anything, it sees the whole picture. And this table just lays it all out, side by side. I mean, first, the pricing is a huge deal. It's free while it's in preview, compared to a monthly subscription for Cursor. But when you look at the tech, the real advantages are that full agent autonomy and that native browser testing. Cursor just doesn't have that kind of self-correcting, closed-loop system. All right, benchmarks and features are one thing, but what can this thing actually build? Let's check out a real-world test case that was in the source material. Okay, so the prompt was super simple, very high level. There were no specific instructions about what frameworks or architecture to use, just a clear end goal. I want a functional, real-time flight tracker. That's the kind of thing you tell a human developer, right? And just look at what the agent did on its own. It made a plan, breaking the problem down into smaller chunks. It actually chose the tech stack, Express and React, a great choice. It then built the whole thing, and here's that magic step again. It verified its own work by opening up Chrome and literally testing the app. And to top it all off, it documented the entire process with screenshots and even a video walkthrough. And now, for the part that's just wild. How long do you think all that took? From that one-sentence prompt to a fully working, full-stack application, 4 minutes and 37 seconds. I mean, just take a second to let that number sink in. You know, this might be the most mind-blowing detail of the entire test. While it was testing itself in the browser, the agent saw a visual bug. A button was overlapping something else. So it went back into the code on its own, tweaked the CSS to fix the problem, and then retested to make sure it was perfect. It literally debugged the app based on visual feedback with zero human help. So when you see stuff like this, it really does feel like the future of coding has just arrived. But, with any bleeding-edge technology, it's important to keep a balanced perspective. I think this quote from the source article really captures where anti-gravity is at right now. The vision and the capabilities are incredibly ambitious, but at the same time, it's a public preview. And that means it can be a little fragile. You're going to run into bugs and quirks just like with any early-stage product. So here's the trade-off, plain and simple. On the one hand, you get access to this absolutely groundbreaking, almost sci-fi level of power. But on the other hand, you have to deal with the realities of a preview. You'll hit some bugs, there are quota limits on the free tier, and you always need to be connected to the internet. But make no mistake, Google's ambition for this platform is crystal clear when you peek at their roadmap. They're planning to bring this same power to mobile development. They're working on offline capabilities, and they even want to build AI-powered collaboration tools. It's obvious they are playing the long game here. And all of this leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? This tech is so powerful it can feel like you're managing a whole team of tireless, super fast interns. But as it gets more and more autonomous, where does that leave the human developer? Is this a tool that makes us better? Or is it a tool that eventually starts telling us what to do? That's something I think we're all going to start figuring out very, very soon.